How did you deal with loss? Faith. You know, I'm Irish.
Have you ever seen the invincible top agent James Bond on screen? But you never thought about it. In fact, he was once an orphan abandoned by the whole world. That one was wearing a custom-made suit. A man with cold, deadly, and charming eyes. In the hearts of an entire generation, it has almost become synonymous with sexiness. So many years have passed. The global audience witnessed him repeatedly transforming danger into safety. Everyone thought he was born an invincible superhero, but you never thought about it. Behind this elegant, smiling face, hide a soul that has been accustomed to separation and loneliness since childhood. There are no sports cars in real life, no gunfights, only Pierce Brosnan's completely abandoned childhood, because he knows too well the feeling of failure. Only then did he shape the indestructible bond that later appeared on the screen. Today, let's talk about this legendary movie star under the mask. Those unknown tears and persistence. The time can be traced back to May 16, 1953. A baby boy was born in a remote town in Ireland. He's Pierce Brosnan. His father, Thomas, has not yet learned to remember. I cruelly abandoned this family and completely disappeared. For this child, the word father does not represent a warm embrace, but a series of question marks will never have an answer. When Pierce was 4 years old, May's mother had to make a painful decision to support this family. At that time, there were no decent jobs in Ireland. As a nurse with a meager income, my mother can only go to distant London alone to work hard. This means that little Pierce has lost his father. I must be separated from my mother again in the coming years. For Pierce, the word home means constantly relocating and living in someone else's home. He will first live with his grandparents. But the good times didn't last long. Grandparents passed away one after another. He was sent to his uncle's house again. Finally, I moved into a boarding school run by Ms. Irene Riley. In this cold and homeless childhood, this kind woman gave him the only remaining sense of security. Although those days were turbulent and full of uncertainty. But as Pierce grew up, he remembered. He only said he was grateful. He said that his grandfather's hand was his only reliance during his childhood. In Eileen's rudimentary boarding house, although the windows are covered with tattered newspapers and green curtains, the iron bed is cold and icy, but he found his own happiness in this small space. That wall helped him block the cold world outside. Although my mother, who is far away in London, cannot be by my side, but she expressed maternal love in a special way. She gave Pierce an old projector as a gift. It's this magical little machine. Make Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck come to life on a simple ceiling. The lonely boy lay on an iron bed, flying with a faint light towards a fairy tale kingdom he had never been to before. Apart from the projector, my mother even gave me a more precious gift. That Christmas, my mother couldn't come home to reunite because of overtime. She gave away a pair of ordinary boxing gloves as a gift. These worn-out leather gloves have been on Pierce's bookshelf for decades. He never needs to explain to others why he keeps them, because these gloves silently told him, love doesn't necessarily have to be together day and night. Sometimes they even cross mountains and valleys. As long as we have each other in our hearts, this is the most solid support. The turning point occurred in August 1964. 11-year-old Pierce welcomes a new chapter in his life. His mother finally returned to his side. He also brought back a person named William Carmichael. This stepfather filled Pierce's long-lost fatherly love with patience and love. They moved to London with Pierce to start a new life. Just in that month, my stepfather took him to the cinema to watch a movie called Goldfinger. On the big screen, Sean Connery exudes infinite charm. The calm, confident, and dangerous image of a spy. The insecure Irish boy in the audience was deeply shocked. You can leave the cinema and return to the streets of London. Reality poured cold water on Pierce. Because he speaks with an Irish accent, he became an marginalized outsider in the school. Everyone looked at him with strange eyes, even mocking him. But this stubborn boy made a clever decision. He doesn't feel inferior because of his background. On the contrary, he openly admitted that he was an Irish child. When he took the initiative to label himself with this label. If others mock him, he won't get hurt again. At the age of 16, Pierce left school with his booklet, Start Learning Business Illustration. I think I will spend my whole life dealing with paintbrushes, until he accidentally walked into a drama class. He never thought of becoming an actor, but this performance was like a beam of light suddenly illuminating his life. For a boy who has lived in someone else's house since childhood, he has a habit of observing their facial expressions. The stage is a magical place. No one here cares where you come from. Look how charming you are on stage. This is the first time he has found a sense of belonging. He crazily learned to act like a life-saving straw. I spent 3 difficult years at the London Theatre Centre. Every action there needs to be reviewed repeatedly. Every sentence must touch people's hearts. This sensitive boy used to survive by observing other people's faces. I finally realized that my years of survival skills can be turned into art on stage. He later said, this performance let him breathe a sigh of relief. But at that time, he didn't know. This kind of liberation requires a huge price to be paid. When graduating in 1975, there are no flowers or contracts to welcome him. Only cruel reality and endless traps. He is doing the hardest and most tiring work at the local theater. Play some overlooked small roles, although unknown. But these experiences honed his acting skills. He is making every effort to conquer the audience every day. I only performed well tonight. Tomorrow, I only have the opportunity to continue standing on stage. In 1977, the opportunity finally came. Famous playwright Tennessee Williams fell in love with him. Let him play his new role in the play. After watching Pierce's performance, the master excitedly sent him a telegram. There's only one sentence above. Thank goodness my child has you here. This is really good. Although this did not make him overnight famous. But this gave him great confidence. Later on, his career path gradually expanded. Start showing off in celebrity-studded movies. Although the number of lines is not many, but he steadily moved forward. The TV screen opened up a bigger world for him. Several TV dramas gradually made him known to the public. Even received a nomination for the Golden Globe Award. What truly changed his fate was the 1982 American TV series. He played a mysterious thief named Steele in the play. This character has elegant behavior but a bit of bad charm. Instantly conquered countless American audiences. He wears a suit and behaves elegantly in the play. When people haven't seen him play Bond in real life yet, in my heart, he is already the perfect choice for James Bond. The audience looked at him. It's like watching a future 007 rehearsal on a screen. 1986. Fate played a big joke on Pierce. At that time, old Bondrog more officially announced his withdrawal. Everyone is spreading rumors that Pierce is the highly anticipated successor. The production team did indeed hand over the contract to him. After struggling at the bottom for many years, step by step from the local theater to the big screen, the ultimate opportunity that countless actors dream of is about to come. But at critical moments, his agent made a heartbreaking phone call. The problem lies with the American Broadcasting Company, which broadcasts his famous works. The television station firmly reserves the copyright of this TV drama and refuses to distribute it. They decided to shoot a new season. The filmmakers absolutely cannot accept the new Bond being strangled to death by the TV series. At that time, everyone comforted Pierce by saying that there was a 60-day buffer period in the contract. This matter can definitely be resolved. But who would have thought that miracles wouldn't happen? The last day of the buffer period, Pierce brought champagne and prepared to celebrate with his wife on the beach. The piercing phone ringtone suddenly rang. The TV station officially announced an increase in filming. The Bond contract should immediately become invalid. This character ultimately fell into the hands of Timothy Dalton. For those who have been accustomed to disappointment since childhood, what did Pierce just say? This is so shocking. Then wipe away your tears and continue working. During the years when Pierce struggled for his career, His love life also welcomed the warmest harbor. As early as the mid-1970s, when he has nothing and his future is bleak, he met a woman who changed his life, Cassandra Harris. At that time, Cassandra was holding the children left by her two ex-husbands, Charlotte and Christopher. In this imperfect family, Pierce found what he had been searching for his whole life. That's the real home, a sense of security that doesn't require him to please or disguise himself to gain recognition. Later, the biological father of the two children passed away. Pierce made a great decision without hesitation. He officially adopted these two children, let them change their surname. From that moment on, he became the true father of the children. 1980, he and Cassandra officially entered the marriage hall. This is not just about marrying a wife. In addition, he personally reconstructed the missing family puzzles of his childhood for himself. September 1983, their son Sean was born, although Pierce was still searching for a better role at the time, busy with auditioning for small roles all day long. But deep down in his heart, he already possesses something more precious than success. This is the satisfaction of being a husband and father. Cassandra is very aware of the hardships of being an actress, because she is also an excellent actress herself. Even before Pierce played Bond, she has already appeared in Bond movies. When Pierce faced countless rejections and setbacks, Cassandra always stands by his side, encouraging him and accompanying him in making decisions. Their home is always filled with laughter, joy, and the noise of children, this unwavering happiness. Pierce never dared to dream when he was a child. This is a sincere love that doesn't require any promises or excuses. However, the cruelty of fate often appears in the happiest moments. During filming in India in 1987, Cassandra began to feel extremely exhausted and unable to let go. Her stomach began to swell inexplicably. After returning to London, the doctor carefully examined it. They received a cruel diagnosis: ovarian cancer. This news completely shattered the peaceful life of this family. Future. Cassandra underwent 8 major surgeries. There is still a year and a half of painful chemotherapy. But she was not intimidated by this disease. She took the initiative to learn about various treatment options and made her own decision. She faced the disease with admirable perseverance, because she knows she's not just fighting for her own life. She works even harder for her family who need her. In those dark days, Pierce became his wife's staunchest supporter. He pushed away most of his work and silently stayed by the hospital bed. Each chemotherapy and examination, he tightly held his wife's hand. Sean, the youngest son, also comforted his mother in his own way. He disguised himself as a doctor and spent his days circling around his mother. Used the innocence of children to dispel the haze brought by chemotherapy. Despite the torment of illness this family has endured, they also refuse to let sadness become their entire life. Under the sunlight of Malibu, friends can still see children playing in the swimming pool. Cassandra sat aside, watching them gently. After chemotherapy, hair begins to fall out. She even took Pierce for a walk, planning their future new home. The house they bought became her last refuge. During this painful period, Pierce picked up his paintbrush again. He poured his inner fear and helplessness onto the canvas, fighting against the loss of control over fate in this way. As the condition worsens, this medical method has finally come to an end. Faced with irreversible consequences, Pierce has a regret in his heart that he can never let go of. He never had the courage to ask his wife in person, "Is she afraid of death?" There was a dead silence between them, but Cassandra appeared unusually calm. 1 week before the last hospitalization, watching Pierce's face full of anger and grievance. On the contrary, it was the weak Cassandra who gently comforted him. Facing death, they don't have much left, but at least they're still each other. In the ward, they held hands and prayed together. When Pierce tried to read a passage of the Bible to his wife, this actor remembers countless lines on stage. "But I choked up and couldn't speak." He reads books intermittently, continuously apologizing to his wife. Cassandra struggled to bend down and smiled faintly. Say the last sentence she left for Pierce. "You will always be an actor. Even in the last moment of life, she still understands that he loves him." On the morning of December 28, 1991, on the second day of their 11th wedding anniversary, Pierce held his wife and phone receiver in his hand. On the other end of the phone is my daughter Charlotte, who is far away in London. A few minutes later, our eldest son Christopher also rushed to the hospital. Cassandra quietly closed her eyes in her husband's arms. At only 43 years old, that afternoon, Pierce returned home and held his youngest son Sean in his arms. "Tell him gently that his mother has left." The little boy had tears in his eyes, but he remained strong and did not shed any tears. He just whispered to his father, "Mom will never get hurt again in the future." Overcoming the shadow of losing loved ones, Pierce seeks help from a psychologist, but he made a brave decision. He never hides his sadness and tears in front of the children. He wants the children to understand. Pain can be shared. You can also get through it. He started accepting only jobs that were close to home, so I can go home every night and cook. He has been keeping in touch with Charlotte in London. Make every effort to take care of your two sons. For months after Cassandra left, Pierce said to the outside world, "She is still living in my life, live in every breath of mine." At that time, the whole world didn't know. This person is about to become the new generation of James Bond. This tough guy can do anything elegant and cold on the screen. Just experienced a devastating family upheaval. Later, the audience saw the resolute Bond on the screen. The elasticity of bones cannot be described. But in the cold corridors of the hospital, countless nights of tightly clenched hands, when a person faces despair alone, birth and training, do you believe that fate will play the same joke on a person twice? 8 years after Bond's disappearance, Pierce silently endured the regrets of the past. He has never fallen into despair, but on the contrary, he risked his life to broaden his acting career. He challenged that villain in The Fourth Agreement. Show the cold side. He once again performed on stage with Robin Williams in My Beautiful Dad, proved to everyone that he can not only defeat tough guys, you can also perform comedies and touching plays. The whole world watched him step by step reach the pinnacle of his career, but only he himself knows. James Bond's name, the regret in his heart that can never be erased. Until 1994. That is to say, 3 years after he lost his wife Cassandra. The phone that once broke his heart rang again. This time, the message on the other end of the phone is no longer a refusal. But what can be certain is that, due to the resignation of former Bond Timothy Dalton, the producer has finally decided to give Pierce this late opportunity. June 8, 1994. Pierce Brosnan has been officially announced as the 5th James Bond. 2 days later, when he was filming Robinson Crusoe in a remote mountainous area of Papua New Guinea, the local children excitedly surrounded him and shouted loudly, "James Bond!" That moment, listening to the names echoing in the mountains, Pierce couldn't help but blush. 8 years of waiting, all grievances and patience. At this moment, I was finally released. The GoldenEye, released in 1995. At that time, the Cold War had just ended. The audience's taste has also changed. Many people are questioning, can this senior agent Bond adapt to the new era? Pierce used his power to dispel everyone's worries. He retained the elegance and nobility of the Steel era, integrating the ruthlessness of modern agents, especially in the reality show between him and the new female boss played by Judi Dench. There is collision and tension between old and new concepts. The global box office of this movie has exceeded $350 million, set a record for the Bond series at the time. But for Pierce, this is not just a box office victory. This is where he started playing dragon traps in the small theater. After experiencing hardships and difficulties, the coronation ceremony has finally arrived. That poor Irish child, finally becoming a world-renowned superstar. However, the cruelest part of fate lies in. When you think you have everything, this situation always happens. Take away your most precious thing again. In Pierce's heart, family is always more important than fame and fortune. When he adopted his eldest daughter, Charlotte, she's just a naive little girl. Pierce did not provide her with the bloodline of her biological father, but he gave her all his fatherly love. Charlotte grew up on set and watched her father become famous. But I also witnessed the entire process of my mother being tortured to death by ovarian cancer. She understood it when she was very young. Love and loss are two sides of the same coin. Charlotte chose a peaceful life away from the spotlight as an adult. She and her partner Alex Smith formed a family, give birth to two adorable children, Isabella and Lucas. At home, Charlotte is a gentle mother who always brings laughter. However, who would have thought? My mother died of cancer 20 years later. Charlotte also received the same bad news. She was diagnosed with the same ovarian cancer as her mother. Upon hearing this news, Pierce feels like the sky is about to collapse. He is too familiar with the difficult journey of fighting cancer. Those painful surgeries, endless chemotherapy, the pain of struggling between hope and despair. He watched helplessly as the woman he deeply loved walked towards death once again. During the 3-year treatment period, Charlotte showed the same resilience as her mother. She made every effort to spend more time with her husband and children. Pierce also accompanied his wife as he did back then, silently pushing away work, guarding in front of my daughter's hospital bed. As of June 2013, Charlotte's life has come to an end. But a few weeks before she left, a miracle happened. Charlotte and Alex have been with her for many years, and they held their wedding ceremony. There were no cold instruments or medicinal odors that day, only the closest family and purest love. In the final moments of life, she married love in the most beautiful way possible. June 28, 2013, Charlotte calmly closed her eyes in London. At only 41 years old, her husband, 2 children, and brother are all by her side. Pierce only wrote a few short sentences in the statement. He called her his beloved daughter. Please pray for her child, and call on the medical community to quickly overcome this devilish disease that took away 2 generations of his loved ones. A year later, Pierce stands on the stage of the anti-cancer charity event. He talked about his deceased wife, talking about the body temperature when holding my daughter's hand for the last time, discussing the powerlessness of watching the 2 most important women in life be taken away by the same disease. Then he fell silent. Super agents on the screen can save the world. In fact, I had to endure the pain of saying goodbye to my lover twice in a row. But it was precisely these pains that made him truly understand the meaning of life. His wife showed him the dignity of facing death. My daughter showed him the continuation of love at the end of time. Although Charlotte has already left now, but her smile and love still shine on her children. Always stay in the memories of Pierce and his family. After experiencing 2 devastating blows of losing loved ones, this person encountered the light of redemption at the most ordinary gathering. But when he regained his life, fate happened. A phone that can be used in just a few minutes mercilessly stripped him of his proud identity as a special agent. That year, Mexico was sunny and bright. That's Cabo San Lucas from 1994. At that time, GoldenEye had not yet been released. Pierce has not yet become a globally popular superstar. At a lively gathering, he met female journalist Gil Issa Smith. At that time, the Pierce family was still shrouded in the shadow of losing their loved ones. Killisha's appearance is not to play the role of a savior. She never competed with Pierce's memory of her deceased wife. What they have established between them is a tacit understanding that belongs entirely to the new life. Kiri not only provided him with warm companionship, this also gave him a firm belief. As a journalist and documentary filmmaker dedicated to environmental protection, she exudes an independent and charming radiance. Before they officially got married, Pierce often accompanies her to participate in various environmental activities. They work together to protect the ocean and wildlife, creating a better future for children. This relationship is definitely not Hollywood-style fast food romance, but based on shared social responsibility and family life. 1997. Their first son Dylan was born. By 2001, my youngest son Paris has also come into this world. On August 4th of that year, Pierce brought Keely back to the starting point of his life, Ireland. A grand wedding was held at an ancient monastery in Mayo County. Family and friends gathered together to witness the birth of this big family. In this home, I deeply miss my late wife Cassandra. Pierce also raised some older children, the new life he and Kiri nurtured together. This is not a new family formed to erase the past, but a port that is tolerant and warm enough. It can simultaneously endure the pain of the past and the hope of the future. Pierce and Keely always used the simplest words to describe their marriage. Pierce said they grew up together every year and cherished each other. G summarized their relationship using the 5 words best friend. There are actually too many unpleasant words behind these 2 words. They never boast about who saved whom, but choosing to face the storm together on ordinary days. Raising children together. Supporting each other's creations together. In Malibu and Hawaii, there are no spotlights to pay attention to. Children grow up freely in the ocean protected by their parents. Now, both sons are starting to search for their own paths in the field of art. Pierce is still performing and painting. Kiri continues to shine in the fields of news and environmental protection. This family has never deliberately forgotten the pain of the past, but they also never let sadness become their entire life. They used friendship and understanding to create the haven Pierce longed for the most in his childhood for each other. From the Golden Eye in 1995 to the Empire of Tomorrow in 1997. Until the Black Sun Crisis of 1999 and the Death of Choice Day in 2002. For a whole decade, Pierce is synonymous with James Bond. He redefined this globally popular spy image with 4 movies. Prove to the world that this character belongs to him. Bond brought him more than just fame. This gave him enough financial resources to establish his own production company. Let him take pictures of what he truly likes. Movie project. This also gave him a bigger platform to speak up for charitable causes. However, his premature death in 2002 became his last scene. This ending is unexpected, even a bit cruel. 2004. Pierce is filming a sunset in the Bahamas. His agent suddenly made a phone call. The negotiation with the production team has ended. The producer briefly told him over the phone in person. The Bond film series is developing in a completely new direction. Pierce calmly thanked them, then hung up the phone. A few years later, he candidly admitted, this sudden farewell left him feeling empty. It's like a beloved job being forcibly taken away before it's completed. This kind of disappointment does exist. But he didn't let this disappointment ruin the beautiful memories Bond brought him. I didn't let it hinder my progress. His first attempt was to play the role of a bullfighter in a movie. In this movie, he completely tore off the perfect spy mask. Play as a tired and somewhat neurotic assassin. This character is full of loneliness, vanity, and dark humor, completely subverting the elegance of Bond's style. His outstanding performance earned him a nomination for the 2006 Ballon d'Or. Both the audience and film critics praised his courage in portraying fragility. Afterwards, he collaborated with Meryl Streep on Mamma Mia, searching for family warmth on a deserted island filled with sunshine and singing. Later, he returned to the spy theme in the November Killer series. But this time he created a brand new tough guy image. Instead of repeating 007. This is not an actor who has lost the opportunity and struggled to death. But artists can freely control their reputation. Although in subsequent interviews, the name Bond still follows closely like a shadow. Pierce never denied that this breakup hurt his heart. But he never vented his dissatisfaction by belittling his successor Daniel Craig. As time goes on, Bond is just a chapter in his acting career. After taking off that neat tailcoat, he still found his own stage in comedy independent films and paintings. He proved this with his actions. Losing a character, he will not lose his soul as an artist. in the dark corners where spotlights cannot reach. Pierce still needs to face another heartbreaking challenge. That's his eldest son, Christopher. This boy was born in 1972. It's the child of Cassandra and her ex-husband. But when Pierce married Cassandra, I accepted this boy without reservation. We not only processed the formal adoption procedures for him, but also let him take his surname. Christopher has been immersed in the film crew since childhood. When I grew up, I went to the University of California, Los Angeles to study screenwriting. I am studying directing at the New York Film Academy again. He participated in the behind-the-scenes production of multiple blockbusters with his father, like Tomorrow's Empire, Black Sun Crisis, and Trapnet. At that time, father and son fought side by side, sharing the hardships and joys of work in a noisy environment. This should be an enviable father-son story. But in 1991, my mother suddenly passed away. This was a fatal blow to Christopher, who was only 19 years old at the time. Pierce watched his son's eyes gradually lose their radiance, watching that young soul engulfed by immense emptiness and pain. In the days to come, Christopher is deeply addicted to drugs and unable to extricate himself. The whole family made countless efforts to save him. But Pierce eventually realized a cruel fact that no parents are willing to face. No matter how deep your love is, how selfless this effort is, you cannot make the decision to be reborn on behalf of another person. By 2005, Pierce talked about his eldest son. The tone was filled with helplessness and pain. He admitted that his son had completely lost himself. This kind of letting go is not because I no longer care, but this is because he clearly saw the cruelty of reality. Parents can give life. Give it a chance. You will always be the child's most steadfast supporter. But ultimately, this path depends on the child walking on their own. Maintaining distance does not mean the disappearance of love. This is just the most painful compromise made by a helpless father. Despite years of separation and the Cold War, Christopher has never been truly forgotten by this family. Father's Day 2022. Pierce posted the latest news on social media. He put the names of Christopher and several other sons together. Deep, effective writing. I will always love all of you. Dear children. November 2025. Some media captured Pierce, Christopher, and Dylan walking out of a restaurant in Notting Hill, London. The family dinner that night may not immediately heal decades of trauma. The father and son have never revealed their current relationship with the outside world. But that framed photo itself is worth 1,000 words. They are no longer strangers with no contact at all. This also fails to fulfill some mandatory family obligations. But they went through a storm together, attempting to sit at the same table. We should not define Christopher's life solely based on addiction or relationship breakdown. He is a poor child who lost his mother at the most vulnerable age. He is also a young man who once pursued his dream of making movies with his father. The painful decision Pierce made at that time, unable to erase the warm years they once walked together. Just like a simple dinner cannot eliminate the estrangement of more than 20 years. But at least it sent a positive signal. That's the tightly closed door between them, maybe never really locked. As long as there is love, family always finds their way home. Pierce cannot change the tragedy that once destroyed his family, but he refused to let these pains linger only in the cold hospital and personal memories. Starting from 2001, he will serve as the UNICEF ambassador to Ireland, persist in advocating children's rights. After his wife and daughter died of ovarian cancer one after another, he turned grief into strength, announced the establishment of a research fund specifically targeting this type of cancer. I hope to find more effective treatment methods for other families. Not only that, he and his wife Keely have been committed to environmental protection for a long time. They once traveled around to protect the gray whale habitat in San Ignacio Lagoon. He also strongly opposes industrial energy projects along the California coast. James Bond brought him great fame. Turn him into a beam of light. Illuminate the corners and groups that urgently need attention but have been forgotten by society. 73-year-old Pierce still hasn't stopped creating. He continues to be active on the screen, Appeared in new movies such as Giant and Gangster World. External Mercury lamp. Painting remains an indispensable soul redemption in his life. He always has Keely's gentle company by his side. The children and grandchildren laughed happily non-stop, constantly emerging challenging new roles. There are still some precious memories that have never faded in life. Cassandra still lives in his heart. Charlotte has never been forgotten either. Christopher slowly found his place. Long years may take away many things. It also brings new hope and friendship. But it never asked Pierce to forget the person he once loved. When he was a child, his grandfather was the first person in his memory to hold his hand tightly. Decades later, in front of my wife's sickbed, he tightly held Cassandra's hand again. Only love can resist the despair of life and death separation. Later, in the final moments of his daughter Charlotte's life, he also held her hand in the same way. These hands silently clenched in the dark night, more profound than any handsome suit or exciting spy scene on the big screen. For a boy, Pierce's life is a long journey of finding a home. He is a good husband who never abandons his wife during difficult times. A strong father who always protects his children in setbacks. He is also a true artist, over 70 years old, still burning passion in front of canvas and lens. Bond's role undoubtedly made him a world-renowned superstar, but the hand he once held passionately, only by piecing together the most authentic and touching life of this person. If his movies or this story full of tears and strength have ever touched you, why don't you leave a sentence in the comment section that you want to say to him? Let's talk about the first time you thought of him on the screen. If you have also experienced the ups and downs of life like him, please subscribe. This is not just a support for our video. This is also the deepest tribute to this behind-the-scenes hero. He has been telling us all his life. The greatest adventure is not actually in the movie script. Every day we truly live behind these brilliant successes, frequently hiding unknown struggles and pains under those unbelievably powerful appearances. Perhaps this is a heart that has been broken countless times, but after every painful loss of loved ones, we still have the courage to rebuild our lives. This is not forgetting the past, but with love for the deceased. Live braver. This is the life script depicted by Pierce Brosnan throughout his life. Perhaps this is the best performance of his life, the most successful role. Thank you for seeing this. If the story moved you, don't forget to share your feelings in the comment section. See you next time.